The country forgot Joe Biden's still president. But today his approval rating hit an all-time low, 34%.
As you prepare to leave the White House, any other regrets that you have? Anything you wish you would have done differently?
Well, I guess if I thought a lot about it, it'd be something I've done, specifically done, but not generically.
No regrets. Biden won't take this new poll well. He's obsessed with what people think of him.
When history is all told, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be?
I kept my word that when I said I was going to do something, I did.
Biden lied almost about everything, including pardoning Hunter. History's not going to forgive that. So Biden's delaying his retirement to clean up his legacy.
I'm not going away. I'm going to be deeply involved in the environment, deeply involved in foreign policy, deeply involved in all the things I've been involved in before.
We don't know what Joe's going to do with the environment or foreign policy, and neither does he. The big guy isn't even working now. What makes you think he's going to do anything after January? But this is exactly how Biden's team likes it. Keep Joe far away from the spotlight.
They don't want to end his presidency with one last humiliation. So they just made the decision to keep him away. And to me, I've been sad about it. I've been angry about it. Just really disappointed as a Democrat.
Oh, with the election lost and Biden put out to pasture, Democrats are leaking like a busted sink. The Wall Street Journal talked to more than 50 Biden insiders to find out what's really been going on in the White House for the last 4 years. This bombshell report reveals Biden was even worse than we thought. Joe was AWOL most of his presidency.
Let's talk more about Joe Biden because he has some regrets. Wishes he had done some things differently. Now that he is on the doorstep of walking out of the White House, he's looking back and saying, hey, what could I have done differently? And the main thing seems to be he wishes he would have stayed in the race. He thinks he could have won with some of the reports over the weekend. Somewhat delusional that he thinks he could have won. Because, he did give us all this evidence when he took the stage in that debate against Donald Trump.
That $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with.
Bro, what?
Look,
man, come on, man.
We finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
That was the moment.
Man, they keep... Bro, this is like the fourth time this in like the last 24 hours they have played this exact same clip, man. Oh, boy. I can't breathe, y'all. Oh, I got tears. Yeah, he up there. He done blew the motor and the transmission oil. Motor and transmission shot in the middle of the freeway. Live on stage, y'all. Live on stage. Motor and transmission is shot. But as bad as Kamala was, man, it's like, maybe, just maybe, he might have had a shot. Just maybe. That's how bad their DEI candidate was. Didn't earn it. Not qualified. Drunk entire inventory. She was drunk as hell. Yeah. Didn't earn it. Yeah, their DEI candidate. Chameleon, my values have not changed. Flip-flops. Yeah. Cackles. Yeah.
That was, and look, the struggling, the losing his train of thought, and then we finally beat Medicare very very strange thing.
And y'all better not be on here laughing. Y'all stop laughing. Y'all come on here laughing and giggling and playing with your boy. But it's elderly abuse. You stop that laughing. Elderly abuse. You better stop all that laughing. It's been elderly abuse all around. Up there in Washington, man. Capitol Hill, people falling down, cracking their hip, cutting themselves up, open wounds, all kind of stuff. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Yeah. They should just shut the whole thing down. The whole thing. They lied from the start. Just shut the whole thing down. And give them patriots back their money. Everybody get a refund. A big old stimulus check or something. Just cut everybody a check. Unbelievable what they've done, man. Incompetent. The worst administration ever. We don't know who's running the country. Man. And he got a long list of regrets before leaving office. Yeah, Biden, I'm pretty sure we would all have a big, long list of regrets, too. Of what y'all have done and accomplished. People struggling. People have died under your... unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. She talking about she was the last one in the room. Unbelievable, man. They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
The problem that just comes back to mind, guys, is we were told, leading up to that moment...
He was as sharp as a tack. It was a cheap fake. It was a deep fake. He's as sharp as a tack. Yeah, we heard it everywhere. Yeah. From top Democrats. From people on MSNBC, CNN, everywhere. He is as sharp as a tack. And then we heard someone say he's doing such an amazing job. Oh man, this year 2024 has been one year, man. I tell you that. I know we talk about the last 3 and 3.5, 4 years, but 2024 has been 1 year, man. I tell you, what a race it's been, y'all. I tell you, boy.
Aggressively, indignantly, that man was not only perfectly fine in that moment, right. He was suited and ready to go for 4 more years.
And
That's
control.
What they told us, right? In control, sharp as a tack, all of that nonsense. And then the lie, which was clearly a lie to many of us for quite some time, totally disintegrated over a span of about 20 or 25 minutes on that debate stage. That's why I think, Joe Biden's sort of an ornery guy in some respects. He's very proud. I'm sure he does believe that he could have stayed in the race and not been forced out and could have won. But delusional, I think, is the right word there. Kamala Harris was untalented and a terrible candidate, but she lost less badly than he would have. Because the American people, 70 million tuned into that debate, they saw that person and said, there is no way he can be president for 4 more years. He would have lost badly, I think.
I just remember going back to this summer and the way this whole thing played out. So there was this debate, then there was rumor about whether Joe Biden would stay in the race. Then George Clooney comes out with the op-ed that was the first knife in the back. After just 2 months earlier, he told the country at that fundraiser with Obama that Joe Biden's fine. He should be the next president. He's totally fit to continue on this race. You should all give millions of dollars to keep him on the campaign trail against Donald Trump. Biden said, no, I'm staying in. Then you started seeing additional people coming out and saying it's time to go. Nancy Pelosi was circling the wagons. You had Barack Obama doing it. You had Adam Schiff doing it. And as Joe Biden continued to double down and make the single case, show me polling that shows that Kamala Harris is a better candidate than I am against Trump, and I will drop out of the race. They couldn't do it. And eventually the pressure got so high that he resigned from the campaign trail through a letter that was put out on a Sunday afternoon on X. And we didn't hear from him for 24 hours. So there wasn't a lot of explanation about why. After for weeks he was saying, I'm not leaving the race. I can beat Trump. I'm a better candidate. And now the Washington Post is reporting it this way. They're saying, quote, in private, Biden has also said he should have picked someone other than Merrick Garland as his attorney general, complaining about the Justice Department's slowness under Garland in prosecuting Trump and its aggressiveness in prosecuting Biden's son, Hunter. So while all this is going on with him being exposed at the debate for his mental acuity, his son, Hunter, is going to be on trial for a number of felonies. And at this time, he's still insisting he's not going to pardon him, which, of course, we all know was not true either.
So he's laying his cards on the table as well. The lawfare was designed to affect the electoral hopes of Donald Trump. And he's saying, Merrick Garland didn't press the issue enough, or I would have won. Soon enough, fast enough, hard enough. And if you had Merrick Garland, he has regrets apparently now about Merrick Garland, then I might have won. I mean, you have explained exactly what we all accused you of for some time. You're using the justice system, weaponizing it in pursuit of a political end.
So if he had put him in prison, federal prison, before the Supreme Court could have come down with the immunity ruling that they did in June, that's Biden's argument, that he would have been able to win this election, which is insane and anti-American.
Reportedly complaining to enough people behind the scenes that this is now leaking out to the Washington Post. His one, aside from getting out of the race, his one biggest regret is having an attorney general who didn't prosecute his opponent fast enough and who did prosecute his criminal son. And he's saying it openly. So the game is sort of over at this point, right? And so he's dishing out his pardons and grousing on his way out the door. And I think there's a reason why his approval ratings are absolutely in the toilet right now. He has very much earned them.
And what does Joe Biden do when he leaves office on January 20th, right? I mean, the Democratic Party is looking forward to him leaving.
Well, he can finally take a break and go to the beach.
He can finally take a vacation, maybe. But what a legacy.
But Joe Biden's record with regard to the things that he's accomplished, I think will stand the test of time. Now, what my dear friend Scott and others will talk about, and quite frankly, I'm going to say this, rightfully so, it was very disturbing to learn late in the year about just how how poor his health has become. And like many, I did not realize that it had gotten to that point. That being said, I think he showed up for the job. He got the work done. I think some of the accomplishments also in the Middle East and foreign policy will also stand the test of time.
You think the Middle East is in better shape today than when he took office?
Well, I think he got our hostages home. I think that's a big deal. I think it's important.
I'm sorry, which hostages?
He's gotten a number of people home. He was able.
There's still 100 people over there.
Well, there were more than that.
Including some Americans. Look, I think he's gonna leave office in disgrace. The Hunter Biden pardon was disgraceful. He's going to be remembered largely for inflation and for the disastrous Afghanistan pullout. And I think as we continue to, we're just getting the first draft of this now, but as we continue to learn about the massive cover-up that went on, not about his health, but about his mental acuity, to cover that up, the efforts that were undertaken by the White House staff, by his family, not in the last couple of months, but for all 4 years, I think it's going to be a really ugly chapter. It's a diminished presidency because of it. And I think we still don't know the full extent of what they did to try to hide what they've been doing over in the West Wing.
So I think